Hello, everyone. This webinar is going to review the Freedom School Fundraising Plan worksheet. So this worksheet is really designed to help you start thinking about identifying other funding sources to support your Freedom School for the summer of 2026. So the first text box is the question is, who comprises your fundraising team? You got to have a team. They could be part of your leadership team. It doesn't matter to me, but you need to have a team to help you figure this out. The reason we're doing this is because a lot of the legislators are asking me, those that support freedom schools, what are freedom schools doing to assure that they have found funding to support freedom schools going into 2026 and beyond? I have been talking to and been sharing this for as long as we had freedom schools, that there will be a time when the freedom school funding will be dwindling and that the funding you're receiving will not be in the amount you're receiving it. And I am not sure what the funding is going to look like beyond 2026. So we need to make sure that you have a plan in place. So what are your fundraising goals, right? What is your site's total fundraising goal for this year, going into next year? And you don't have to do this third text box because it's redundant about this from the first text box. So let's say the example is you want to raise $25,000 in cash and $5,000 in in-kind support for meals, books, and supplies. If Right. Then what are your funding sources and target entities? You can check all that apply, right? Check all that apply. And then we want to know, well, who are these individual donors or local businesses or foundations and grants? And you can't include the OFBI because we're funding you. So there has to be other opportunities. And these are grants that you're going to apply for and that you're going to get capital from before your Freedom School starts. This can also include this can also include other state agencies, and then other faith-based organizations and congregations. Like, are you reaching out to them to donate to the Freedom School? Do they even have an idea what a Freedom School is, and why would they want to donate to something that they don't know about? Right? Public government partnerships again. What other funding opportunities are there that you're going to be applying for and that the funding will be released prior to the start of your 2026 Freedom School? In-kind donors, food supply space. That can also be seen as part of your fund development plan moving forward. So I can say to a particular legislator or the lieutenant governor or the incoming administration, hey, these freedom schools have skin in the game. They have in-kind services. They don't have to, they're not charging the OFBI grant 100% for each line item. They've found in-kind services in the amount that totals collectively, I don't know, $1 million. If you take all the 21 freedom schools and I add up all the in-kind services that you're going to identify, because you're going to have to, it can add up. It can be a substantial amount. So then the next page is the outreach and engagement strategies. You're just not asking for money, right? You gotta do some outreach. So list the specific ways you will reach out. You will reach each audience identified above. Like, how are you going to do this? Is it through social media? Is it you're going to have what do they call those? Oh goodness, open houses. Are you gonna, like, how are you gonna engage with potential funders? How will you recognize and thank those funders and those donors, right? We want to know how you're gonna do that. So an example might be host an open house or a number of open houses for local partners. Send thank you videos from scholars, feature donors on social media. There's a lot of ways that you can engage your potential donors. And this is one of the ways, right? Fundraising timeline. So I created a timeline for you. So November to December, you're going to identify and research funders, develop fundraising calendar. Who's responsible for that? Is it completed? Yes or no? And when will it be completed? January to February, develop a schedule of donors events. Who's responsible for that? Is it completed? Yes or no? And if no, when will it be completed? April to March to April launch donor events, right? This is when you've done all the work, you're launching it, you're having these events so that so you can create revenue to support your Freedom School. If it's completed, yes or no, and if no, when will it be completed? May to June 2026, confirmed commitments, finalized donations, and acknowledgement. This is when in May to June, you should be okay. We wanted to raise $30,000. In fact, we did such a great job, we raised $50,000 for Freedom Schools. And then who's responsible for that, and how would you plan to complete that? And then on the bottom here, they'll have this text box for additional information. If you want to wax poetic about how great your identified staff person or team did in completing the timeline. Okay. Fundraising campaigns. List the fundraising campaigns or events planned for this year. Are you going to do a holiday giving drive? Are you going to do a corporate sponsorship campaign? Are you going to do a congregation challenge? Are you going to appeal to online donors? For example, 30 for 30 campaign, 30 donors giving $30 to celebrate the June 30th launch. I mean, that's just an example. You don't have to necessarily use that. And then indicate below how you plan to launch the events. By the way, this is going to be shared with legislators, so that you know. And then the budget planner, right? So this is an example of a template to create your own plan and track your fundraising goals and progress. So the top grid is an example. The bottom grid, you use the top grid as a template to complete the bottom, right? So for example, corporate sponsors, your goal is 10,000, you secure 2,500, the remaining balance 7,500. What are the notes, right? Faith-based organization, use the goal was 5,000, right? How much did you secure? What's the remaining balance? What are the strategies to complete the $5,000? So whatever that dollar amount is for each of these rows, you'll have to at least um let us know where you're at with that. All right. And then there is the progress and outcome tracking, right? So on the top is an example. So your corporate sponsors is 10,000, 2,500, achieve 25%, and then the action will be follow-up action. And then when will you be following up? Um, so some of you may be like, you know what, this is too much. This is too much. I just want to do a freedom school. Well, you can do a freedom school your way by not accepting OFBI funding. If you want to receive OFBI funding, then you've got to do this. Because here is the concern that we all have, and you should have too. Many freedom schools are participating in freedom schools, especially cohorts 2, 3, and 4. Cohorts 1, I'm not worried about because they were doing freedom schools when there was no state support. And their survival for Freedom School is ingrained in their DNA. I'm not worried about cohort 1. It's cohort 2, 3, and 4. Because you guys became Freedom Schools only because the state is supporting Freedom Schools. And my concern and everybody else's concern is if the money dwindles to a point where there is none, is your Freedom School gonna be terminated? Or will you continue to move forward? And if you continue to move forward, how are you going to move forward? You got to have a fund development plan, right? So this is the plan. All right. So this is in a nutshell what the plan is. I emailed it to you, the worksheet. You have to upload this in the application. Um, so thanks for your attention to this. Talk to you later. Bye.